Hey guys, Jordan from Team Neg9 here, coming at you with a primitive deck list of Ariadne Gofu Metal Foes. Um, it's a build that I'm trying to test, and it's been working okay. It's pretty heavily theory based, and the traps can dead draw. Um, but I do really like the list. I think it diversifies your plays more, along with like Gofu and Synchroing, than just being shut out by either calling fusions or pendulums with D barrier and stuff. But Gofu is definitely really good in my opinion, so I really wanted to use it, and I play it over the Klee engine because I feel like you can make Ultimaya Crystal Wing, which is just it's different from Infinity, but I think in my opinion it's a bit better because it can get over other Metal Foe players as well as not just negate something. It also has like that attack bonus boost, but Infinity has like the take boost, but that doesn't really work against Kieran and things like that. So it has its ups and downs, but I am testing it and I wanted to show you guys the primitive build. So I guess we'll just go through the Metal Foes. They're all pretty standard. You play 3 gold driver, 3 silvered, for the scale ones of the Metal Foes. There's some, like, everyone just takes these for granted and says, well, standard 15 Metal Foes. But, like, I do want to explain, like, why you do need all 15. People just say 15 and people play 15, but it's like, what these do, like, every single Metal Foe has the same, like, set of spell and trap. And with each Metal Foe, it can create bigger boards. And boards that can push through more back row. And so the ideal hand is like 2 to 3 Metal Foes, none of the Metal Foe spell and traps, like a painful for like Mithrilium fodder, and a power card, being like Bunbuku, Ariadne. In the Klee build, you want to either have Summoner's Art and Scout without Monolith. And so that's the ideal hand, is like just having 2 to 3, maybe 4 depending on the hand. And so when you play the full 15, you have a bigger chance of opening the optimal opening. But yeah, for the rest, you do play 3 Bismugear, you do play 3 Volflame, and 3 Steelin. As I said, these are all pretty standard, but I did want to mention why you play them. It just creates better hands in general. Everyone's like, well, you just want to open 5 Metal Foes. I actually don't think that's true. As I said, you kind of wanted to open with 2 to 3, a power card like Bunbuku, and like a painful or an Ariadne in this build. And like you can also take it a step further and say you want to open either a Gofu or an Archfiend Eccentric as well as one of the power cards or one of the starter cards, while the starter cards being in the Klee Metal Foe build is Summoner's Art. But that's why you play them, just as a little heads up for people who just have only heard you play the standard 15 Metal Foes. That is why. But yeah, the next 3 cards, continuing on with the pendulums, is 3 Bun or Bunbuku. Just because he's a raccoon, who doesn't like raccoons, and 1 blue cat. Spellbooks have a blue boy, and so do many other decks. So we want to play blue boy in the form of a cat. So that's pretty cool. And Kieran. But yeah, to go more in depth, Bunbuku searches the unicorn, which is basically like, this card alone can just like win you matchups. Like, if you have this and another pendulum just on board, you can summon this and summon this every turn. Like, you can literally just win games off that. And a lot of people, not a lot, but like a select few, still don't play Nekomata. And while it doesn't come up that often, even if you draw it, like, it's kind of like the theory where the Klees are like, you want to put another pendulum monster next to the first Metal Foe, so you get the value out of the first Metal Foe, and then it's okay to like be putting Metal Foes by Metal Foe. But like the first Metal Foe, you just want to get the value out of popping something rather than popping another Metal Foe that you could be using for scales or like for fusion plays. So that's basically why you play this, but it's because it's a low scale, and like a lot of times if you only have a high scales, you don't want to search Kieran to put in the low scale because then it's stuck in the low scale, while you can just like Pendulum Summon Bunbuku out next turn with the Nekomata and Scale and search the Kieran. So like that's basically what you play it. Next is 3 Archfiend Eccentric. Sorry for my commons. They look grody, but they're there. This card is really good for popping combination. Like it's the same thing with MST. I don't play MST, but it was kind of like the same thing with MST where like MST you wanted to play to out back row, but it was also like a lot of the time you found yourself popping your own combinations. The reason I don't play MST is because at the end of the day you can't Pendulum Summon out MST and like do anything with it. So I'd rather just have the triple eccentric and that's it, I guess. Next is 3 Gofu. This is what I was talking about, and I guess I'll put those up there and picture in the Ariadnes. Guiding Ariadne. Sorry you can't read them, but basically what I wanted is to have diversified plays, and if things like Max C got dropped on me, instead of having the Klee engine, which has to be special, you can just put this in scale, pop it, search some stuff, and if you have another one, or if you already have traps, you can set this in scale and not take any damage off the traps. So basically what this enabled me to do is like have a Maxi player where they literally just get 1 card off a big Pendulum Summon, and I still have traps, or I could just search a trap and like not summon it all so they go -1. But this card also allows me, I don't play Luster. I don't think, like the only time you want to have that card is with Bismugear. And like all the other times it's like pretty lackluster, and if you don't play any of the other Draco Slayers, it is like super lackluster because when you go into Ignis it's just like whatever. But now you can play Gofu, get like a 3 like Archfiend or like the Silvered and stuff and make it with Gofu, and so it's much more accessible in this build, as well as much more consistent while because you can still summon this while when you summon Ignister you can't like fuse with its tokens or with itself because it can only be fused for Draco Slayer monsters. So that's why you play the Gofus. As I said, like this is just really good at pushing quote unquote through Max C. It basically just kind of sits there so you can get traps. Last monster I believe is Wondrous Rabbit. I think this card's great. It's like you can summon this with a fusion and then just get a free fusion basically. You can also summon this for like, I only have a primitive extra deck for you guys today. Like it just has like a Cult of Mithriliums. I have to pick up a 3rd, but it just doesn't have everything I need. So it's more primitive until I can get everything. But like this can just create instant rank 3 plays, instant rank 4 plays, instant fusion plays. It's just really good. So that's why I play that. And onto the spells, the non-Metal Foe archetype spells is 2 Painful in the Summoner's Art. I played 2 Painful in Summoner's Art because this can be activated and search you a Volflame, while this can get you a 4 lower. But basically, if you play 3 Painful, like you could dead draw 2, but now you can just open this and search a low scale and a high scale. So like that's why you can play this in Klees, is because in the Klee engine, because these can be activated multiple times per turn, while this can't, so it just gives you the diversity to search what you need. And I guess we'll go into the Metal Foe spells and traps next. You play 2 fusions and 1 of each trap. I have considered bumping full Metal Foes up, and I have considered bumping combination up, but like at the end of the day, like when you do that, you see them way more than you usually do. And that is honestly just like absolutely terrible. Like I hate seeing these cards in my hand like enough. So like now that I've been kind of testing with the deck a bit more, it is just god awful to draw those. So like I never really wanted to add more anymore. But next for the Ariadne part, you play 3 strikes and a warning. So technically you can only get 2 searches off, but like technically it's a low scale. And technically you can just set it in the scale. And when you activate these, you take no damage. So it's not even that bad, and even if you want to pop it, you can still pop it. It's a rank 4. It's a level 4 for rank 4 plays and all. So it's still not bad, and it searches great cards. And then the 1 Vanity's Emptiness will kind of. But I guess the traps in and of themselves can break because you want everything in your hand to be able to do something, and these cards don't do anything in general. In your hand first turn, they just kind of sit there and you have to set them. So yes, in and of themselves they can brick, but I think they're powerful enough, especially since they're searchable to play. But yeah, I guess the primitive extra deck, I don't have a third right now. I'm going to have to pick up a third. But there's 2 of that. I still play 2 Orichalcum. I think it's actually really necessary because it can get you out of like really bad situations with popping cards, especially with vanities. You can like, I've had the quick play and I've like activated fusion and then the vanities and I chain the quick play, summon this, and then pop it with a Metal Foe and scale, set a card, and then pop like their Mithrilium or another back row to get rid of their vanities. And that happens a lot, and then you don't want to just miss one, and you don't want to have like one be outed, and you just can't like double pierce, or you can't like have the free pop. You just don't have another target that's very good for Metal Foe's fusion or whatnot. So I play 2. I still only play 1 Alkahest. I've never, like, you could play 2, and everyone's like, well, like I played 2, but I never really summoned it, and that is true. Like I've never really summoned more than 1 of each of these. You just, like, as much as I wanted to play 2, it's just like, you never summon more than 1. You never summon more than 1, so you just play 1. That's basically it behind that. And then since I do play Gofu and Adamant, I guess these are pretty standard with that. I've never really made these, but like the extra deck has so much room that it's okay. This, as I said, you can make with Gofu and like a Silver Eccentric, so that's pretty cool. But these you can really only summon with Zul'Jin. But I still think they're good enough to play, especially since this deck relies on field advantage, like monster spells, traps, rather than hand advantage. You can just use a bunch of scales, summon 5, fusion, blah, 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 and then activate this. And they can't activate, like, Dark Hole, Kaiju Slumber, Book of Eclipse, whatever it may be, to out your board. So that's pretty good. But yeah, that's just the primitive extra deck. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 cards. You would definitely add things like Breaksword, Castell, Utopias, potentially a Grand Pulse, maybe different targets for Ultimate, like if you didn't want the Void Ogre, things like that. Definitely a third Mithrilium. But this has been a shorter deck profile, and I'm sorry about that. I might have not explained as much as usual because it's just pretty much standard Metal Foes at this point. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this Metal Foe deck profile. This is Jordan from Team Neg9 signing out.